I believe that I am the best person for the job of President of the United States. My unique talents give me the ability to be assertive and diplomatic at the same time. I'm a person who will spike the conversation, who will get politics rolling and stimulate new questions and new answers to our current political dilemma facing our nation. I believe I have a keen understanding of the economy and how to improve where we're at relative to other nations around the world. I believe that our goal at America's Third Party was to create a very strong platform in which would propel the American people forward with new opportunities and a new possibility of creating a better nation, a cleaner environment, and less war. I believe that I am the best person for the job of President of the United States. My unique talents give me the ability to be assertive and diplomatic at the same time.
You want the juice?
We're back. Indeed, we're back and we're ready to go. We had a little technical difficulty with 50 tabs open and the XSplit program starting up a text box. So I just have to remember not to open a text box, but it was a good time to start up again and, you know, encapsulate these shows in 2 hours and 40 minutes or so per. It doesn't really matter. Part 1, Part 2. We've done a lot of that over the years. All right, so something's not right here. One of the decedents who allegedly died has a father who was out looking for his daughter the day of the accident, or of the attack, I should say. Yeah, and liberals hurl insults at the father of the Florida shooting victim for his shirt. He was wearing a Trump shirt. And yeah, those parents, one of those parents named Andrew Pollock was wearing the shirt. His daughter, Meadow Pollock, died. And then the reporter Alexander Seltzer uploaded the photo to her Twitter on Thursday, and she said Pollock learned his daughter was killed. Okay, this is the image of a man who learned his daughter was killed and is looking for his daughter. And he's wearing a Trump shirt. Yeah, this just doesn't make any sense to me. Yes, again, because I never really processed this. I'm trying to find, why was he looking for his daughter? Yeah. We have had to permaban you, Rodney. I'm so sorry. You won't be coming back on the show again. Yeah. Scissor Fight's doing a great job of managing a very difficult environment where people have been hosing us for years, including yourself. And I mean trolling and hosing and trolling. So Yeah, we're perma-banning now, so you're in the new wave of perma-bans. So however many you bring in, we'll just keep banning them. I know. Sources: ex-Trump staffer Rick Gates to drop his lawyer in the Russian probe. He's not happy with his attorney. I don't blame him. He got a really stiff deal. Yeah. Anyway, I'll get back to this father who's he was looking for his daughter that day. Didn't he get the memo that there was a shooting at the school? Was that the face of a man who thought his daughter died? It just didn't look right. Something was wrong. And him wearing a Trump shirt, and then the liberals coming after him. It was all like make-believe or something. It was almost too good to be true. Former Trump campaign official Rick Gates has fired his lawyer, the Daily Beast has learned. And contrary to recent media reports, Gates is not about to make a deal with a special counsel Mueller, according to sources familiar with the matter. He was told to lawyer up again. Frozen? Have you tried our other alternative broadcasts? We've got a couple people. Martin Luther King Jr. is over there. Hey, Martin Luther King Jr. How are you? You've been dead a long time. You can go, here's the link to that, the seed box. Yeah. You can also, you can't see us there, but I thought I had my other broadcast. There we go. Ustream. Ustream is actually a really good venue. Well, Jackson, if you run into problems and I am frozen, you can try these other venues. Because this HTML5 on Marxist code is not working very well. Rick Gates was caught helping Manafort fabricate a financial statement, but you know, many people are really wise to get to an attorney who can give him good counsel, and maybe he's getting good counsel. Rubio needs good counsel too. Dark Star has something. He came in about an hour ago with something. InfoWars. Oh, yeah, Trump suggesting arming teachers and staff could prevent school massacres. Yeah, that was my story. Trump slams fake media. I never said give teachers guns. Oh, really? Oh, okay. So here's an anomaly that has been detected over, and Reddit has a scoop. Yeah, Trump suggests arming teachers and staff could prevent school massacres. I saw that article. And he denies he even did it. Trump slams the fake media. I never said give teachers guns. Wow. Okay, so it's pretty obvious the Alzheimer's kicking in. Yeah, things are getting a little bit weird for Mr. Trump. He forgot what he said about it a day earlier. Yeah. Okay. Meanwhile, this man could very well get a good plea agreement. I think, frankly, I think Gates made a good move. And I think being he's at the center of the controversy with Manafort and his financial manipulation, you know, giving people jobs, the Trump administration for cash, that's what he was doing. That's no different than what Rod Blagojevich was doing. And he got 14 years for negotiating Barack Obama's U.S. Senate position on the phone, and not even serious. It was kind of like he was half kidding. He got 14 years for that. This is no different. So if indeed this is what is in the works, this would be one hell of a plea agreement. He could have 14 years like Blago. Mueller probes stymies Kushner security clearance. Yes. Kushner's security clearance has been pulled because of the recent problems with John Kelly making the right decisions about wife beaters standing next to the president. Yeah, this is all so complicated now. Politics is getting more difficult, folks. Yeah, but this is something that's been happening.
Paperwork after his original SF-86 forms contained more than 100 errors and omissions.
Yeah.
Mostly related to the failure to disclose foreign contacts. Retired General Flynn failed to disclose payments of over $600,000 for his work representing authoritarian regimes in Washington. Both were approved for their security clearances. Can you recall if there's ever been an applicant having to submit 4 addenda detailing over 100 errors and omissions, being able to maintain their security clearance once those errors and omissions had been identified?
I will caveat that by saying I've not seen the breadth of all the applications, but I have never seen that level of mistakes.
Neither have I.
Either have I. And either have I, in that I've never seen anything. So I would agree with him. If a guy pisses you off, well, He's
More evidence special counsel Robert Mueller is not letting up. Tonight, CNN has learned a Virginia grand jury has returned a new indictment against President Trump's former campaign chairman Paul Manafort and his deputy Rick Gates. There are 32 new charges, and they are separate from the charges the pair faces in D.C. federal court, including money laundering, failing to register as a foreign agent, and failure to report foreign bank accounts. In this new indictment, prosecutors describe a scheme where the two longtime business partners failed to pay taxes for almost 10 years and then used real estate they owned to fraudulently secure more than $20 million in loans. The indictment also alleges Manafort, with the assistance of Gates, laundered more than $30 million, income that he concealed from the United States Department of the Treasury, the Department of Justice, and others. The charges were announced just hours after Rick Gates was spotted leaving this D.C. federal courthouse. With this long list of new charges, it appears any plea deal from Gates may have fallen apart. CNN reported that Gates has been in plea negotiations with the special counsel's team for the past month. And if he pleads guilty, he could testify against Paul Manafort.
I think these lawyers are putting so much pressure on these guys with so many high stakes that the ultimate decision is going to be, I've got to protect myself and my family, and they're going to cooperate.
In addition to tonight's new charges, the Wall Street Journal reports Mueller's team and federal prosecutors in New York are also examining up to $16 million in loans to Manafort from Federal Savings Bank, a bank run by a former campaign advisor to President Trump, Steve Koch. The special counsel is reportedly looking at whether the loans were made as part of a quid pro quo. Manafort got the loans, and Steve Koch was promised a job in the Trump administration, while New York prosecutors are investigating possible money laundering. Both Manafort and Koch have not commented. Koch did not get a spot in the cabinet, but was a member of candidate Trump's Economic Advisory Council in August 2016. Manafort, who served as the Trump campaign chairman until he stepped down 3 months before the election, sought in the past to distance candidate Trump from Russian money.
So to be clear, Mr. Trump has no financial relationships with any Russian oligarchs.
That's what he said. That's what I said. That's obviously what our position is.
Manafort left the campaign amid questions about his lobbying work for the pro-Russian Ukrainian government and the payments he received.
okay. Wow. See what I mean about complicated? That was a mouthful. And Rick Gates has the information that would pretty much finish Manafort off, and they could fully indict him and charge him with a crime, and he'd have to face a jury trial. And Rick Gates, if he cuts a deal, since he is seriously a kingpin in this operation, along with Papadopoulos, there are people that will probably make him an offer. That's my suspicion. And that's probably okay, considering it leads to so much. Now, if Rick Gates has information that Donald Trump ordered Manafort to work these deals, that's an even more indicting bit of information. They simply ask Rick, do you have more information about Donald that you'd like to share that would affect him in a big way? And if he says, yeah, then they just say, okay, we'll cut you a deal. You want to get out? Low security prison, 1 year, and then maybe possibly probation in a with a belt buckle, or one of these ankle bracelets that they put on these people for a year or two. I mean, it could be really a light sentence for this guy. I am a really wonderful person too. Gosh, obviously people can't see that because I'm isolated to this show every day. Researchers successfully test world's first solar fuels reactor that can run at night. Thank you. Remember, just 8 years ago, we were talking about MIT developing this nanotechnology, and these solar fuel reactors are able to actually pick up the ultraviolet wavelength that lingers on the planet. Infrared wavelength that lingers on the planet. Wow. Interesting. And they're probably going to have to micronize this into nanotechnology and then take it from there. It kind of looks like a dinosaur in its current stage. But Contisol, a solar reactor that runs on air, has been tested by International Solar Thermal Energy researchers. So it takes the hot air of the day and runs energy. Isn't that a brilliant idea? Fantastic. Mystify took off for the night. I don't know if she's taking the night off. Maybe she went to McDonald's and had one of those super meals that they offer now. I hear they're really satisfying. I'm not representing McDonald's, but I've been told that some of you really like to, you know, supersize yourself when you get there. Well, most people who have a brain don't mind eating at McDonald's, misanthropy. I mean, seriously. Haven't you ever been on a road trip and wanted a double cheeseburger and just had to stop? I'll have a double cheeseburger, $1, right? Plus tax, right on. I mean, how could you lose? Beef byproducts mixed from 9 different animals and starch with MSG. It's just incredible. I don't know if they put MSG in it. Don't quote me on that. You think she's hitting the bottle a little bit? Really? Robbie Williams. What's going on with him? He sounds like Robin Williams. And why is this important? Is this the screaming irrelevant link provider again? Oh yeah, politics for dummies. Everything he gives us is almost completely unrelated. Yeah, and this one's really good. The page doesn't exist. Wow. You really stepped up your game there, buddy. Wow. Wow, unreal. What, do you post anything now? You don't even check your links? Nancy who? Nancy Pelosi's worth $100 million, really? She finally fessed up to her net worth? Nancy Pelosi's net worth. Well, I'd love to talk about the, you know, the Parkland. It's 29.35 million, according to this ranking. She's 50th of 50th of the wealthiest it's a tongue twister. 15th of the 50th wealthiest members of Congress. Try saying that 10 times. 15th of the 50th wealthiest members of Congress for 2014. So maybe that's an old number. Maybe she went from 29 million to 100 million by now. She sure looks good in that picture. Wow. Far cry from her previous self or her current self. You need to start mowing the grass so people can be smuggled through grass. Wow. Stop mowing the grass. Nancy Pelosi, you're here. Wow, what a shocker. How do you keep your skin looking so lovely? Yes, what is it you do to maintain the freshness, your youthful appearance? Is it Vaseline or Preparation H? Because I use a little Preparation H right around here sometimes when I want to pull my face back. And it looks great too, yeah. People really admire that. Hey, is that Preparation H you have in your face? No, I'm just trying to look more like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah. And his son, the love child of Mildred. Yeah. No, actually, you put a little bit of a Preparation H right between your buns and your in this temple area. Well, thank you very much. Yeah. But his love child is very nice built, very big. He might even get into bodybuilding like his father. Bad hair. Good hair. Bad hair. You got hair on your mind, man. Okay, let's get into the real meat and potatoes of this business of news gathering. This has been kind of a wild evening. We started out right out of the chute like it was like a horse race. It's like, and we're off and running, and all kinds of stories started piling up, and gradually it became clear that Donald Trump was trying to wiggle out of this one, and he won't call the event at Parkland false or fake news. Now, Donald had an opportunity to turn his tweeting ability into something powerful, but he couldn't bring himself to stopping the fraudulent event that's going on right under our nose by this Sheriff Israel, who continues to spin a line of BS a mile long. Where is the CCTV footage of the shooting? Where are the autopsy results of the decedents? Don't just pull off 5 seconds of video and expect us to believe this is earth-shaking news and somehow we have to change our gun laws because of it. The American people deserve better. And this has become a pinnacle point in our country's history. And for Donald not to call this fake news, instead today he said, there's a problem with these crisis actors. It's very bad, very bad. Your own son, Donald Trump Jr., had the balls to like a video describing the crisis actors at this event. Your own son, and I got to tell you, I grew some respect for Donald Trump Jr. when he did that. It really makes me think maybe he is kind of helping his dad move in the right direction, because if he turns on these powerful gun lobbyist people who want to push for gun control to weaken our nation and turn us all into victims, you can best assured that if Donald does that, he will gain my respect. But so far, he hasn't even used the word fake news. Coming from him, this is ridiculous. They have not shown any footage, no CCTV. It's always the same video over and over again. And we've got, you know, certain things just don't add up, like why this guy was out there looking for his daughter with a Trump shirt. I mean, it's utterly absurd to think that this man was looking for his daughter when the whole town knew there was a shooting at the local school where she was. And he's out there looking for his daughter. It's a complete setup. I seriously don't even think he has a daughter. The whole thing looked completely like full of crap. On what they're trying to do is keep our mind off of what's really going on with this guy, though, and the Trump involvement and Mueller. Yeah, Rick Gates could very well flip information. And getting a good attorney to strike a good plea agreement is really what he's after. And I don't blame him. So a special counsel files new charges against Trump's ex-aides Manafort and Gates. So these are the stories today and what's happening. That's the chat. Oh, I smell those waffles. I like that waffle maker. It really, you know, it kind of brings the aromatherapy into the house too. Great, incredible waffles she makes. I swear I'm becoming like addicted to the smell of a wonderful Belgian waffle. She's cooking. She makes great. She's a great baker. Yeah. 15 homemade devices, security devices that will definitely not help you. Really. Okay. Oh, there you go. This is pretty funny. A blowhorn connected to your door so that if it's open, it goes off. And this idea is really kind of pointless. It's a rotating cap with knives on it. Okay. Homemade security devices with Legos in it. Well, you know, they have a really good device that's available. Not so bad. No, it's a Roomba attached to knives. Yeah. Look, the gate. Oh, yeah, there you go. A gate with nothing around it, no fence. That's pretty funny. Backing up the wrong tree. Barking up the wrong tree. Okay. Warning, security dog, and put a goat there. That's very funny. You know, how to make a remote control gun. Oh, yeah. Right. The neighbors have better stuff. Ooh. To steal. That's my favorite. That's got to be my favorite, yeah. That's a funny one. I would use a motion detector. I would definitely consider a motion detector. They're readily available. Heartland America has them on for sale right now. And I don't represent Heartland America. But motion detectors are $15. And that's your best bet. $22. This is what I would get them. This is, I think, the state-of-the-art technology that you can have in your home that will provide you some warnings so you can get to your safe room and start locking and loading. A lot of you gun rights supporters who are coming in here really have to understand that Trump is not standing behind your ability to defend yourself. So if you have a defensive perimeter, it'll buy some time. And then pull out your home defender, your Remington or your Winchester shotgun, gas-driven 12-gauge. But this little puppy's $21. $21.21. And if you're a club member, it's $19.99. Thank you. What happened there? Hi. They just kicked me out of my own chat room. But that's something I would recommend. Let me give you the link to this. Infrared motion detector. Yep. I put them everywhere. Yeah, they're awesome. They do go off with animals blowing off in your area, but if you put them in the right position, they're perfect. It buys you enough time to get to your safe room and start lock and loading, if you know what I mean. All right, everybody. Welcome to the Right to Bear Arms, America's third party, dedicated to what's going on with Donald Trump and how he's flipping on gun control. We don't like that. I think many of you are kind of disappointed in him. Somebody asked me what my plan was for immigration. Well, I've always had the no refugee plan. Oh, it did refreshed? Okay. The no refugee plan keeps people from coming in here illegally, but Donald Trump got it all wrong. He just keeps all the people with green cards from coming in here from 7 different nations. It's absurd. I mean, they have green cards. They went overseas to visit their family. They came back to visit their other family. I mean, why wouldn't they be allowed to come in here? Well, it turns out that Donald Trump is all messed up about this. He's upside down on immigration. He's allowing the UN resettlement plan to continue. I don't dislike the LGBT community, ma'am. I mean, sir, miss, man, woman, whatever you are. I don't dislike or hate the LGBT community. Why do you think I hate the LGBT community? You guys have been watching me on a daily basis. I don't have anything I'm going to do to you that I wouldn't impinge upon your rights, freedoms. We just can't offer you non-discrimination status at the business level. But at the federal level, all jobs could be completely open to trannies. Anybody. But if you're a mom and pop business, you can't just be forced to accept trannies in your employment. It's not quite like the racial divide. A little different. But if we go to that extent, I think it'll be the nail in the coffin of American business. Because, look, we've had a female in the office who isn't a female. The first lady was, unfortunately, no one realized was a transgender, and still is. I'm referring to Michelle Obama. And I know it's hard for a lot of people to look at this, but I'm going to show it to you anyway. And this woman may be running for president, and we have to be ready to accept the fact that she is a tranny.
And do you think that the country will see the United States will see the first gay president or the first woman president?
We already have it with Obama, so let's just calm down.
Got it.
You know Michelle is a trans.
I'm sorry, she's a what?
A transgender. We all know.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you for putting up with that. She's hung like Jesus? I don't think anyone knows anything about Jesus in that respect. And do you mind? Some of us are very, very, very much of a Christian group here. We would take offense to that. Thank you so much for being kind enough to not burn in hell for damning the Lord. What would be wrong with a transgender president? Nothing. There's nothing. Look at, if Caitlyn Jenner wants to run against Michelle Obama, wouldn't that be the best? They could be on the same ticket. Caitlyn Jenner, right? A dude in a woman in a dude's body. Michelle Obama, a woman in a dude's body. A dude in a woman's body. I'm not sure what Michelle Obama is. I think they're both dudes, so yeah. 2 men would be running under the tranny header. Wouldn't that be kind of a cool idea? Maybe you want to contact them, but not personally. Yeah, you transgenders, you need to stick together. Get a letter off to Michelle and say, you need to come out of the closet. Caitlyn Jenner could be your running mate. This could be a real win-win. Yeah. Why won't Trump release his taxes, Bodie McBoatface? because Trump is hiding his relationship with the oligarchs, the Russians that control him and make phone calls to him and say, you better do what we tell you in Syria or else. You know, so he's got a lot of things on his mind. The sex tapes, Mueller's investigation. Trump is just taking it easy. He's engaging with verbal discussions to help keep his mind going, but then he failed to realize that he was actually talking to a group of students who said, well, why did you say that teachers should hold guns? And he says, I never said that. I never said that. When he said it the day before. You were born this way. I know you're born bi, gay, trans. I don't have a problem with you guys. Excuse me. Wow. Did I just get hit by radiation? Wow, that was weird. Holy moly. Have you ever wondered if there's like a cesium particle floating around and hitting your eye? Man, it's like, did you see what happened? Did anyone see like an orb enter my brain? What was that? Not really? Okay. Well, Trump is having problems with memory. It was visible because it looked like something floating in my eye. I don't know if I'm going to have to go rinse my eye out. Something just stuck in my eye. I don't know what it was. It could be a radioactive particle. I have my air filtered. I can't understand why that would have happened. Hopefully I'll be okay. We've got a refreshing issue going on over there at iVlog. Rod. You know, perpetual repeat. You just don't belong here, Rodney. I got to go in and take care of my C-Box routine. I got to clear out his chat. He's crapping in our chat room now because he's so upset. This is a guy that kept calling me for years. Every time he got on the phone call with me, he tried to denigrate me. He tried to run me down. Every single time. It was like some dig any way he could. It's pathetic. Yeah. Yeah. That's all, folks. Yeah. I have to block his IP too. Yeah, you just blew it with me, man. You had a lot of opportunities to come in and you didn't. No originality either, unfortunately. Okay. Get that out of there. Gently down the stream, row, row. You try not to denigrate me? Well, the fact that you referred to Jesus' body part was just really disturbing. I'm sure many Christian folk who are watching the show are extremely upset at what you just said. I mean, what if you talked about Muhammad's body part? You can imagine it would cause a stir among the entire Islamic community here. Who do you feel was the second best, Dave? Of what? Second best at what? You didn't have a choice. You had Hillary or Bill, or Hillary or Donald. You didn't have a choice. I can't pass judgment on that. You folks have got to understand, I've run a campaign for at least a solid 8-9 years now, and trying to create a third party, and you still don't understand. I still have people in my show on a nightly basis that are still voting Democrat and Republican. It's so sad. It just doesn't make sense why you continue to linger in that world, thinking that somehow they're going to help you. It's pathetic. The nice thing about the current controversies about Russia and Trump and that is it really is kind of flushing out the Republican corruption. But then there's a Democratic Russian connection too. Let's not forget it. I know. David Hogg is a terrible example of a young man who would be willing to lie about an event like this just to get noticed and become a newscaster. David, are those the tactical sunglasses on TV? No. These are actually even better. $900 Gucci's that I acquired from a bag person inadvertently. I mean, he left them on a park bench, public area. And I talked to him the day before. And I don't know why he left them there, but it was fate that I would wear them. He didn't know who he was talking to, apparently. Yeah, $900 Gucci's. I couldn't believe it until someone said, hey, those are $900 Gucci's, and now I believe them. Club El Toro says, David, I'm serious. My friend's father is an ex-CIA agent. The government has a radiation gun that can fill your room with a radiation beam from 5,000 feet away. Oh, I know. I'm totally aware of that. Absolutely. They can't, you gotta understand, they can't kill me. They are screwed. The reason why they can't kill me is because, number one, I'm too public worldwide. And it would open up a massive investigation. It would be a case of almost a martyr. I've done nothing wrong. Another factor. They would be murderers if they tried to do that. And more importantly, there's a factor involved here that is even more disturbing that many people don't realize is they don't have any answers. A lot of these people who have all the money are inbred, literally inbred, and still running off of the same playbook that they got from their grandparents and great-grandparents. And these are Masonic people who've been controlling our country for some time. And they still believe that they have a good plan for us by, and get this, by eliminating 90% of the population. Now that's not what I call living in equilibrium with this planet. So because they can't make it happen over a long period of time, they've decided to shorten it. So they've got ways of doing that by dumping chemicals in the skies above us. And they're creating the climate change at a rapid rate using very man-made disturbing techniques. And I don't have to reiterate, preaching to the choir here, that we are chemtrailed to the max. They are virtually creating these weird weather patterns we're getting right now. So they've done this through a variety of techniques. So they are at loss for a solution. They think they by getting rid of 90% of the population is going to help. They're killing not only the planet, but humans, slowly killing them with chemical pollution. And it's not going to happen fast enough for them. So it's a better solution to fix the problem. And that's going to take some intelligent thought. But because they're unwilling to even acknowledge that, they're creating the crisis of bad acting and crisis actors and false flags. We didn't create that. So I have to go out on a limb to talk about this stuff on a nightly basis just to make people aware of it. It's not hurting me. I'm actually gaining ground by discussing what's happening. And what's really nice about my angle is people didn't die. Nobody died in this event. There's no proof of any bodies here or in Mandalay Bay. And there's no need to get too freaked out. So this whole thing of killing off the planet and then trying to reset the ecosystem, it's just a net failure. Meanwhile, they're developing these slaughter bots that have the ability to take out people instantly. And if they replicate those in a warehouse and then just release them in the atmosphere, they could destroy mankind in about a year. Yeah, and they know that too. So they can implement slaughter bots if they can't kill us off fast enough with pollution and other methods. Bitcoin's making a migration upwards. Yeah, it's hovering at 10,000 right now. 10,405 Bitcoin is hovering there. It dropped down to as low as 7,000 and then migrated back up with a lift. The question is, will this just be a false top and then drop down to 5? Or will it continue to grow up and go up? Hey. Some people think their Bitcoin's going to be worth 35,000. They're waiting for that. We never saw a funeral for the beta fish. Well, then the beta fish was a false flag operation then, apparently. It's 9,900 now, so it's on its way down. Gold is at 1330. Pretty stable. And silver at 1659. That's been there for, what, 3 years? And the Dow Jones still dropping below 25,000 to 24,962. Yeah. Well, of course the beta fish existed, and it's in the videos, and it was a beautiful beta fish, but I was told by the Petco company that, well, they didn't tell me anything really, The fact is, these betta fishes need not so clean water. I was giving them pure, clean water. So that's something that we're tracking. I have to add a ban list here. Hang on. All right. Yeah, so we're monitoring this death threat from this guy. He said he was going to light me up. Yeah, he's going to. Here's a quote. He says, "David, I'm serious. My friend's father is an ex-CIA agent. The government has a radiation gun that can fill your room up with a radiation beam from 5,000 feet away." Yeah. So these people are playing real hardball. They're threatening to kill me on a nightly basis now. So I get death threats all the time, folks, in case you didn't know. And it's really sad. It gets out of control at times. Well, even if he isn't full of crap, it's just a death threat. We have to, log every death threat. Okay, kid gets swatted casting on Twitch.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna end my stream now.
A frightened and tearful 12-year-old YouTube gamer after paramedics and police suddenly swarm his home.
It was probably the scariest moment of my life.
We opened the door and they come in, kind of rushing in, kind of like, there was a disturbance call, what's going on? I'm like, you tell me what's going on.
Wow.
So it was pretty scary.
Hold on, guys.
It happened Sunday night as Peter Verratti, known as Raleigh online, was live streaming. Authorities rushed to his Chatsworth home after getting a 911 call of a mother and son hanging themselves. A fake emergency call known as swatting that prompted a real-life response.
I was scared because now people have our address, and, I'm just, scared now that, people could do it again, and, now I have the chance of, maybe even getting shot or something.
A 28-year-old was shot and killed by police in Kansas after a swatting call. And in Colorado, the SWAT team busts into an office building after a false 911 call of a mass shooting.
It's still boy Raleigh. I got the face cam, boys.
Verratti's online popularity, more than 100,000 subscribers, raising his risk of swatting. The 12-year-old says he knew it was a common practice among gamers and YouTubers, but never thought he would be targeted.
I saw comments of, people saying you're getting swatted. I ignored them. I thought they were joking. I didn't know that they were actually going to do it. And until, I just come out and I see cops and LAFD everywhere.
Leanne Suter, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Okay, well, as you know, I was swatted. Sarah and I were swatted 2.5 years ago, and we picked up a lot of information about the swatting, but none of it from the police. They haven't followed up at all with us. Yeah, never give out your personal information. That's right. You were swatted too. Some of you were swatted, I know. You know how it feels. I should petition the government to compensate people for illegal swatting, but at this point, I'm shocked that the FBI won't even return my call. Yeah, and a kid might have egged them on, true. But the fact is, the police force isn't budging. They're not making any modifications in their behavior. When they came to my house, they even recognized the fact that they blew it. They even admitted it in a film, and they said that they didn't have they didn't call me on my phone number, which I had given them 2 months earlier. Updated all my information 2 months earlier. And they didn't even call my number, and they set up a SWAT operation around me without even calling me on the phone, a direct dial. Then they finally called me through the show's number, which is ridiculous. Anyway, that's the protocol that needs to change, and I will change that as your president, I assure you. We will have these people up to speed on how to respond to fake events. 9 times out of 10, it's going to be fake. These people are acting like 9 times out of 10 they got to jump in the car and go down and do it and put people at risk. And what happened to that young man in Wichita is a horrible tragedy, and I hope his mother sues the hell out of the Wichita City Police. I hope she gets a huge settlement, like $6 or $10 million, because she just lost her son in Wichita when a swatting occurred about a month ago, in which, or maybe 2 months ago, in which a young man opened the door because there was something going on outside, and they said, "Put your hands up," and he had his hands up like that, and all he did was go like that, and they blew him away right through his heart. The bullet went right through his heart. Boom. I mean, they shoot to kill, not to maim. And my policy will be a much more sensitivity training, family training, because we're going to pick up where the Child Protective Service is going to leave off, because I'm going to eliminate the CPS organization completely. They're wrought with corruption. Every employee in there needs to be lie detector test before we can give them a role in the new modernized orphanage system I want to create. No more foster parents in America. Cannot trust what they're doing. And the CPS is complicit in what appears to be child trafficking at this point. So we can't really afford to spend $7 billion on an agency that fails us. But the family policing will be, the police are already working with domestic crises, and they have training right now in that area. It's just an expansion of that. And we'll make sure we have safe houses for kids who are in need of an immediate, group home situation. Child Protective Services is rousting children out of their house and destroying families left and right, and it's got to stop. You can soon charge your phone from across the room using lasers. Yeah, I heard the Li-Fi technology sending signals through the air, and charging stations are going to be used. And again, none of this is tested. Your microwave isn't even tested for safety. So everyone has to realize all of this stuff is going on without any government testing. There used to be a United States testing laboratories. They were bought out in 2004 by a Swiss firm and have never ever done any testing. You could soon charge your phone from across the room using a laser. Yeah, there you have it. Charging your phone. God knows what's going to happen to you if you walk through that. Nobody has any idea what it's going to do to your precious gonads or your eggs if you ladies are walking in front of it. But CPS, back to that story, is just, yeah. We don't need CPS. We also don't need the TSA. The transportation of going from one place to another on a plane is not something you need to actually engage in and be felt up. The Transportation Security Administration is a place where you get your junk felt when you're going into the airport, or you get hit by these rays that hit you. The technology was never tested. Never. It unfortunately has a sad outcome. You can have your DNA altered by walking through these scanning units, these devices. One trip through the scanner is not going to kill you, because I know a lot of you travel. But multiple trips, it does alter your DNA. And these PSA workers that are standing there grabbing your junk, that's pathetic too, when you think about it. I mean, you could be standing there going, oh yeah, I'm checking in, and they're reaching into your pants and grabbing your body part. I won't even travel by plane because of a variety of reasons. The navigation systems are completely corrupt. They could be modified and hacked into. Yeah, look at that. He's just grabbing, opening his belt buckle. I mean, can you imagine? What an insane police state we've evolved into. But recently there was a situation at an airport where an airport security expert was actually detained and told he couldn't travel on planes because he could hack airplanes, and he proved it that he could. I don't have that clip readily available. You see. No, don't have that, but I was reporting it just a couple days ago. That he said that every navigation system in the plane is hackable, and that's a problem. I can't go on any plane trips because of my high profile. And as you know, I get death threats all the time. I can't feel comfortable traveling anywhere. Yes, we banned Soviet. Yeah. Do you want to let her come in again? And earn her place back in? Okay. She does work for my arch nemesis. Just bear that in mind. And we don't know if that's not him using the account. Brilliant. Math and science done right. Great. Yeah, we'll show it to her as soon as she gets in here. She'll love it. Thank you. There's a new website, technology site, for kids called brilliant.org. Excellent. That'll be fun. Is she Lot Lizard's daughter, really? Do you know that for a fact, Ted? We got lots of videos here, deleted from YouTube, things that are, yeah, we played this. I kept this in the archive. We have all kinds of weird, really good footage of the Mandalay Bay attack, and not one image of a person getting killed. John, you're not really John Cusack, so I'm going to mute you for a while. We know that you're not John Cusack. I'm not that hot, no. You're having testosterone urges, and you're becoming gay. Too much soy in your diet. You may want to cut back. Yeah, and John, again, we're pretty sure that you're Rodney, so I'm muting you again. The soy is really converting a lot of people to homosexuality, especially the men. Avoiding, what's the question, Pap Nowdy? Yeah, I don't have any idea what your question is. Reading chat a mile a minute. Wow. David, are you going to play the deleted video or some highlights? Let's play a little of the highlights.
Aurora 2. But do you see the same crisis actors that are used in the same events? Is it the same girl? Same crisis actor, but now it's just a different hair color when it comes to Manchester. You see the same things over and over and over again.
It's great that we've been able to look at all this footage, and these people have put their minds together. They created this truth about mass shootings that was deleted off YouTube. But it goes into detail about all the different crisis actors. Many of them just do the same thing at different events. We've seen their same faces. They reuse them. Why would they? Because they don't care about getting caught. The El Toro was banned because it was engaged in what appears to be a doxing behavior. Banned for doxing, which anybody who posts any question about my personal information, even if it's not true, is called doxing. Like if you were to post a number and said, this is your social security number, David, and it wasn't, you'd still be doxing. Same kind of thing. Yeah, that's the kind of thing we can't allow, because then some innocent person with that social security number is probably going to get, bothered. Well, I live in an area that is, everyone knows where it is. I mean, we're under the radar, literally. We have a Naval Air Station right next to us. Wendy, a.k.a. Rodney, we think the wealthy donor, a.k.a. wealthy contributor, was a person trying to buy me. And apparently that's a no-no. You don't want to buy people. Now, there's talk on the Republican side about Michael Flynn having a plea reversal, and that maybe he plead not guilty to these charges. That's unheard of and unprecedented in any capacity, but with the new framing of how the Republicans think that the Democrats influence the FBI in their actions, this could become an issue. So Michael Flynn's testimony could come into play. Hardly likely that they're going to reverse a plea and allow him to. He could still be prosecuted even if he does reverse the plea. This story I brought up a couple days ago, Russian activists, has a link between the Kremlin and Paul Manafort. This is the man that was kicked out of the race against Putin. Yes, his name is Alexei Navalny, and his story is pretty interesting. He tried to run for president, and he was thinking of running for president, and Putin said he couldn't. But he's unearthed an entire crime ring of oligarchs and Russians, and the use of women in manipulating elections both in Russia and around the world. A lot of the Russians are up to some bad things right now, and we have to accept the fact that they've been trying to control our process, our election process. I don't believe they themselves are the bad guys, per se. They are being manipulated by somebody who's controlling them. Okay, let's take a look. Yeah, I believe it's a New World Order attack on countries and nations themselves. And our nation is no different. We're a nation just like every other nation, and all the national borders are at risk. All the boundaries. Yeah, I don't think it's appropriate to post images of sex items in our show. Yeah, so I'm going to ask you to not post these things. Yeah. Are you saying you're posting a fetish picture in our show? Seriously? Oh. Yeah, I'm just going to kick you out. Unreal. Yeah, swatting. Terrible. I'm really sorry that happened to that kid. So it's happening to a lot of young people. And I think policing has to be altered. We're just screwing up left and right. And basically we did cover the story that Mueller is probing, has stymied Kushner's security clearance. Yes. And I'm thinking that's a good thing, because Kushner doesn't need security clearance. He's always been too close to the Donald, and it's not really something we should encourage. His ties to Goldman Sachs are well known. Okay, this is pretty funny. This is a typical site that is looking to be a crisis actor group. They solicit all the time crisis actors, and this organization, you can see, crowdsondemand.com is offering crisis actors jobs. They can put a rally together, a crisis acting event, anything. So if we had had lots of funding, we could have just hired them to pretend like they were protesting, like George Soros does. Isn't that funny? Crowdsondemand.com. I've never been to the site, but I just thought that was really kind of hilarious. World's first cyber hijack was missing Malaysian Airlines flight hacked with a mobile phone. I talked about how the navigation systems in planes are hackable. This story goes into detail about how it could be done. Yes, a lot of UK KFCs are shut down because they don't know how to freeze chicken. Well, Soviet Spy, you were kicked out last time because you were spamming. Even though the start of the show was coming, you can't just hit the button and go boom, 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 enter, enter, enter. Okay? And you can't get into verbal battles with anybody in the show, or I'm going to ban you again. Yeah. So you're becoming an interloper, and we don't need people to interrupt the conversations here. I don't have any information about that online, no. I don't post my birthday anywhere. That never, ever, ever came up online. I've searched 1,000 times online, and that's not my birthday, by the way, but it's just, you couldn't find my birthday anywhere. There is a November 4th birthday that's been posted.
People know my birthday.
Sarah's birthday is public, but
I probably shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Here, let's take a look at this. Okay, so we're going to say Donald Trump ties to Russia go back 30 years. That's a story I'm keeping in the hopper because it's very relevant and it's not going away anytime soon. Now, Sarah, we have a couple links for you. One is this new link called Brilliant.
Nice.
Math and Science Done Right. Brilliant.org. I have not seen it. So that's good. And we did talk about using lasers. Interesting Engineering has a laser system that they're deploying to push energy, and I just don't think it's safe. The team created a way for a narrow invisible beam to charge a phone from across the room at a speed just as fast as a modern USB cable. It gives off 2 watts of power at a distance of up to 4 meters. Again, no testing at all on the safety of these devices sending energy through the air. It's like they don't even take into account the fact that we are electrical creatures. We have electrochemistry in our body, in our brain. And when they use these cell phones, none of the government officials in our country ever say publicly that cell phones contribute to brain cancer. But the director of the World Health Organization has openly said cell phones contribute to brain cancer. So if you are using a cell phone next to your head, or even a cordless phone active, you could be triggering neurological damage in your head. All right, so just so you know that our government doesn't really want to give you a public service announcement, but I'm telling you there's ample evidence to suggest this is true. Our chat show was knocked out 2 or 3 times. Knocked out over at iBlog. Yeah, we were dumped. We are under attack, in case you didn't know, folks. And that's the person who posted this information.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't allow anybody doxing anybody in this show. True Blue, what are you saying? Very disappointed with Soviet spies saying F you in a screenshot. Okay, yeah, well, those statements are in the past. We're going to give them a chance to be in the chat show under new rules that they can't slander us, okay? Let's take a look. Oh. Okay. Insane Canadian looks like he's getting paid too. Thank you. This goes in our backup file. All right. Yeah, I got to put it in the file and mark it as a threat. Thank you. It goes into the Vaughn Censor category. Thank you very much, Scissor Fight. Okay, unfortunately, Soviet spy is not allowed to be in here. Thank you. Banning her again. You can't speak that way about us and expect to be in our show ever. All right. Thank you. A lot of BS about nothing. Thanks, True Blue. Okay. Sarah is here to hang out with you guys, give me some breaks. I'll be back. Thank you. Good work, Scissor Fight. Are you an iBlog admin? I don't know. Maybe the site's getting attacked. I think the site's getting DDoSed. I think iBlog has been DDoSed by the same attacker we have over at Vaughn. So, would you trust laser beams like that charging a phone? I don't. I wouldn't walk through it. You know?
Right.
I just wouldn't walk through it.
I do believe in light, and light is lasers, so.
Yeah, but if they did studies on this, it'd be great. But they don't. And that's a problem. So this guy is going to dump his lawyer, Rick Gates. He's the guy who handled the financial dealings for Manafort, who tried to sell basically a place in the White House to people for $30 million. Remember Rod Blagojevich? Same kind of thing. So they're trying to move in on Manafort, who this guy was his aide, and this guy just said he's scrapping his attorney and he's not going to cut a deal until they make a deal for him. So I think he's looking for a plea agreement to talk, but he probably has a lot of information to gather. So Rick Gates. And that pretty much gives me Oh, and this story I didn't get a chance to talk about yet, but it is something that came up in our show. The discovery of a huge cache of cocaine at the Russian embassy in Argentina leads to arrests. So, if you're wondering why our country needs a reason to keep out of Russia's face, you're looking at it right there. They're involved in some pretty underhanded activities to generate revenue. Dealing in cocaine is not a comfortable thing for our country to just, have good friends with Russia like Trump wants to have. So I don't think we should have relations with a country that's so completely corrupt to the core, with Russian oligarchs dictating drug deals as well as affecting elections. Okay.
No, why?
We're not going to take out, this is not a witch hunt. Jar Jar Dinks has a chance to reform. Bear in mind, a lot of these people realize what they did when they doxed us was wrong. I mean, we've reconnected here.
Yeah, I know.
When they doxed us over at, yeah, they're getting DDoSed at iBlog. That's what's happening. Now they can't even reach the site. Look at that. How about that?
It could be.
All right, let's get rid of them. I'm done with that discussion on the drug. I don't really care about the drug deals. I don't want to talk about, I'll keep that one. We don't have to talk about that. Keeping that one. I'm just going through a few things that I don't need anymore. This guy's all over the place. Never went in. So the story that kind of migrated to the top of the heap today, Sarah, I didn't tell you about this one, is a gunman, apparently there was an armed deputy that never even went in during the alleged massacre. That's the story that they're spinning right now, that the guy, he's earning his salary, he's going to collect a pension check. He didn't even go in and help any of the students. He could have gone in and done something. Now, I'm not sure if this is a true story or not, if they're just saying it to get rid of the idea of arming security guards because they want to keep perpetuating this BS about gun control. Either way, it looks like I don't need this one either. Okay. Now, this is a story that is something I got last night about a vehicle. Range anxiety is far the biggest concern that many people have about electric cars. Tesla has said that Model S100D can travel more than 300 miles on a single charge, but one Italian enthusiast stretched the range to 670 miles. That's really good, because that's the biggest problem when people buy electric cars, is they get range anxiety. He broke the record earlier this year, traveling 748 miles on a single charge in a regular street driving automobile. Cool. And there's a video.
When will we break the...
And Elon Musk is in it, and we'll talk about that later. Great. Okay. Yeah, so we'll have that in our lineup. We'll talk about this new way of getting more energy out of the batteries. Moon Main, I'm not going to ask them to alter their lifestyle and sign documents. I'm just asking for their support, okay? You've got to understand, we wouldn't even be this far if we had a malevolent backbone to what we're doing. Part of what we're doing is we are benevolent, and that involves having a kind approach to this entire thing. I'm not happy with the doxing. I'm not happy with all the money that Mark has made censoring us. But you have to understand, I'm rolling along a much faster rate in terms of word of mouth that's going on around the world about our show. So if I take every little stumbling block like these idiots that have doxed us and committed felonies and stopped our show to do it, then they win. Okay, there's half-hour delay on the security cameras. Florida schools' security cameras had nearly a half-hour delay, causing lag in capturing gunmen, report shows. A cover-up story is being generated by the Florida school system in answer to this big question: why haven't they answered to this big question? Where's the CCTV footage? Now they're saying there's a half-hour delay. You know, I just don't buy it. Sorry. Good choice, though. All right, Sarah's going to take over the show. Yeah, they're just trying to cover their butt. Tsunami, iVlog is getting doxxed by a group that is trying to attack us. Dark Star said about a half an hour ago that David, in the Gates Manafort indictment, they used their laundered money to invest in properties. The indictment is not specific as to whom those properties belong to. Wow. So Dark Star maybe revealed the fact that the properties involved are Trump properties. So they use their laundered money to invest in properties. If that's the case, they invested in Trump properties. That's why this whole thing could turn into an indictment against Donald Trump. It's not the viewers that are crashing the site. It's the person who's attacking our site. He's trying to hit us in every way. Just keep refreshing. Thank you, Sarah. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, David had to refresh the browser, iVlog browser, and then we had to refresh it a couple of times because David has a ton of tabs open and I can't close his tabs. Because I was doing that at one point. I was just closing all of David's tabs, but $10 million, Jar Jar. $10 million. Sure, Bengalitis, I know. Mr. Mouse, what are you talking about? David's never going to come and ask me, go into the other room and say, remember you have to come in and give me a break. He'll never do that. He'll just keep talking forever. I decided for my dinner, David did make this pork fried rice stuff, which I'll probably take for lunches. But I'd made some waffle batter earlier on like Saturday, and so I decided to have some waffles for dinner, which was really good. Not really, Captain. Well, sometimes Captain Howdy. Like just now, I was like, he was like, oh, my websites won't open. I said, maybe it's all your tabs. I went like that to show him all his tabs. Sing a song, sing out loud, sing along. It doesn't matter if you're tone deaf like Sarah. Everything is just fine. You know, I'm not going to call other people names or sink to that level, Moonmane. And people can think anything that they want to about me, including you. Thanks for repeating that. Yes, I would rather listen to the rain than my singing. No way. 100 tabs can slow down your PC? No, really? Yes, exactly. David loves window creation. If our government used their energy for good, imagine what would happen. That's a good point, 370. Ha ha ha, Moonmane. Never deep down. David and I are not planning on making a baby. No, that's not on our agenda. Yeah, I don't know if I'm more secure than other people. I know I am secure. I've gotten to the age finally where I'm like, I'm happy with who I am. I think I'm a pretty awesome person. I like myself. I'd want to be my friend. So there you go. His point of having many tabs open. I have 4 windows open, and I do try to read them all simultaneously. It doesn't always work, but those are all the monitoring the chat rooms ones. Thanks, Tracker. And then the other one that David has, about 30, maybe 40. Then that one, he wants to go through the different, like, do a news review thing with you. I'm always nice to the crowd. Well, it's good to be nice to people because everybody has their story. Everybody has a tough, you know, their own issues that they're dealing with. And it's pretty amazing when you listen to issues and you're like, you develop sympathy for people, empathy. I could be educating people, yes, about positive anion gap acidosis and having fun chatting. Yes, it does sound like the result of liver and onions, acidosis. Something like that. It's a bit something. I don't know what you would call it. Oh, I'm working on putting the tabs together so David can do a spiral through of his things. Quickly! Watch quickly before they delete this! They do not want you to see it! Wake up! Seriously? Oh. All about the chemtrails. Oh, God. I think I'd rather be asleep. Thank you. What do you want me to say? Okay, Diso. I don't know how to say should. Mi amigos, play. No, that's. I don't know how to say play. Not really. I don't really believe in. Never mind. I'm not sure I should say all that. Let's move on to trivia. That's what David, he's kind of working on, Captain Howdy. A clase. Oh, tetanus is in the soil? Okay, that's interesting. Well, I do quite a bit of gardening with my worm bins. You brush your teeth more often than that. Captain Howdy, don't respond. Close the person and report it to Mark Vaughn. Okay, here is your next clue. What is a city in southwestern Italy? It's a major seaport and commercial, industrial, and tourist center, starting with the letter N. Correct, 459. And Bengalitis. And Tiger Illy. Naples. After the conquest of mainland China by communists led by Mao Zedong in 1949, a certain leader, Chiang Kai-shek, led the remnants of his army to the island of Taiwan, where he established a government called this. National something is right. Nationalist Chinese is what it's nationalist China, which the government which the United States long recognized as the only legitimate government for all of China. Nationalist China. What is a region in Western Asia and Northern Africa, often considered the same as the Middle East? I am a bit tired. Correct, 459. It's the Near East. I was thinking I should do some paper grading, but then part of me thinks I should just go to sleep. What is a kingdom in Central Asia, bordered by China to the north and India to the east, south, and west? Located high in the Himalayas, the capital and largest city is Kathmandu. Correct, Pumpkin Hunters and Hypnos. And Johnson, Nepal. Good job, Bengalitis and Tiger Illy. What is a constitutional monarchy in northwestern Europe, bordered by the North Sea to the west and north, Germany to the east, and Belgium to the south? Correct, Pumpkin Hunters. Amsterdam is the constitutional capital, and The Hague is the seat of the government. The Netherlands are also popularly known as Holland, after a region of the country. But no, Nicaragua will be one of the answers, but not there yet. I'm already online. Click here to enter this room. Here, if you guys keep getting kicked off like I have been, you can go to our C box. There we go. Half of the country of the Netherlands lies below sea level. Much of the land has been reclaimed from the North Sea and is protected by dikes and irrigated by an intricate system of canals. During the 16th and 17th centuries, the Netherlands established a powerful commercial and colonial empire. The Dutch Empire included the settlement of New Amsterdam, which later became New York, and the conquest of the Dutch East Indies, now Indonesia. The 6th and 7th century also saw a flowering of Dutch painting by masters such as Rembrandt. During World War II, Germany invaded and occupied the Netherlands, exterminating most Dutch Jews, like Anne Frank. Well, oh, you gave him better grades. Well, you know, I I saw this really cool thing. I've changed the way I grade a little bit, Rex. I mean, I still put a grade in the grade book, but I don't actually put a grade on most of the students' papers. Instead, I just highlight the mistakes. So then they don't focus on like the overall grade. They look through it and look at where they need to improve. Yeah, I learned that one, which was, it is a really good idea. I learned that this past summer. I watched a video. There's this other one called My Favorite No, which is, so I look at the kids' wrong answers and I'm like, I actually like the way they started to solve this problem. And because they did some things right, and I focus on the things that they did right rather than focusing on the things that are wrong. Sometimes that's true, but I think reading and writing are all good with school. Okay. The Netherlands established... Well, I already did that. What is a group of islands administered by the Netherlands in the Caribbean Sea off the northern coast of Venezuela? Yeah. The principal islands of Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao, combining Caribbean beaches and Dutch charm, are popular resorts. They call them the Netherlands Antilles. Oh, it's Curacao. Thank you. That makes sense. Curacao. Thanks. What is a province in eastern Canada bordered by Quebec to the north, the Gulf of St. Lawrence, which is an arm of the Atlantic Ocean, to the east, Nova Scotia to the southeast, and Maine to the west? It's not Nova Scotia because it combined with Nova Scotia and Prince Edward Island is one of the maritime provinces. Fredericton is its capital and St. John is its largest city. Correct, Ted Cruz. New Brunswick. It's near there. All right. What is the capital of India, located in the north central region of the country? It's a portion of the city of Delhi. Correct, Bengalitis. New Delhi. Correct, 459. Oh, New Delhi was built from 1912 to 1929 to replace Calcutta as a capital. Mahatma Gandhi was assassinated in 1948 at one of the city's prayer grounds. What is an island in the southwestern Pacific Ocean, north of Australia? The western half of the island is administered by Indonesia. Yes, I'll give that to you. Ted Cruz. And yes, Bengalitis. No Papa. It's just New Guinea. That's true. Just New Guinea. New Guinea is the world's second largest island after Greenland. It was named for its resemblance to the Guinea coast of Western Africa. What is a nation in the southern Pacific Ocean containing two principal islands, North Island and South Island, and several small outlying islands? Correct, Ted Cruz. Kind of correct, 459. That's where it was filmed, where Middle Earth was filmed. The answer is New Zealand. Its capital is Wellington, and its largest city is Auckland. New Zealand is known for its sheep industry and spectacular scenery. There's a lot of movies that are filmed there because it has spectacular scenery. What is a province in eastern Canada consisting of an island and the mainland area of Labrador and their adjacent islands? St. John is its capital and largest city. It became Canada's 10th province in 1949. The remains of possible Viking settlements have been found here. Hypnosis finally correct. It was the first overseas possession of England. Fishing settlements began there in the 16th century. Yes, Newfoundland. But you guys are right. Nova Scotia is close enough. But it is Newfoundland. Yeah, Oak Island is up there. That's true. What is a republic in Central America? Bordered by Honduras to the northwest and north, the Caribbean Sea to the east, Costa Rica to the south, and the Pacific Ocean to the southwest. Its capital and largest city is Managua. Correct, Bengalitis, Pumpkin Hunters. Correct, 459, Nicaragua. General Anastasio Somoza established a military dictatorship in 1933 in Nicaragua. He was assassinated in 1956, but his sons continued the Somoza regime until 1979. After 50 years of guerrilla warfare, the Marxist Sandinistas launched a civil war and assumed power in 1979. During the 1980s, the United States backed anti-Sandinistas guerrillas called Contras. That was the whole point of the Iran-Contra affair. In 1990, the Sandinistas were defeated in free elections. In 1995 and again in 2001, the opponents of Sandinistas won elections to the nation's presidency. All right. Do tell the Iran-Contra affair. That's hilarious. What is a city in southeastern France on the Mediterranean Sea? It's the most famous resort of the French Riviera. It's all good, Captain Caveman. It is correct, 459, Nice. That's what's important. Good job, Pumpkin Hunters. And I guess Ted Cruz, if you take out one of your E's, you'd be right. You spell niece like a relative of where your brother or sister had a child, and that would be your niece. But Nice, the city, is N-I-C-E. What is the republic, a republic in Western Africa, bordered by Burkina Faso and Mali to the west, Algeria to the northwest, Libya to the northeast, Chad to the east, and Nigeria and Benin to the south? Niger is right. Or Niger. Niamey is the capital and largest city. Niger was under French control from the 1880s to 1960 when it gained full independence. A long time ago. With over 110 million inhabitants, Nigeria is Africa's most populous country. Nigeria has been independent from Britain since 1960, and its independent history has been marked by bloodshed and instability. An ill-fated separatist movement established the successionist state of Biafra in southeastern Nigeria. From 1967 to 1970, the state of Benin in what is now Nigeria flourished from the 14th to the 17th centuries as a center of commerce and culture. It was famous for its cast gold sculptures. What is a river originating in Central Africa and flowing north to the Mediterranean Sea with its delta in Egypt? Correct, Ted Cruz. Okay, that was the Nile River. The Nile proper is formed by the joining of the Blue Nile, which flows from Ethiopia, and the White Nile, which flows from Lake Victoria. They meet at Khartoum, Sudan. At over 4,000 miles, it's the longest river in the world. The Nile River Valley in Egypt is the site of the first great civilization. What is the third largest continent? I'm patting myself on the back. North America is correct. After Asia and Africa, it comprises Canada, the United States, Mexico, and Central America. Okay, what is a republic on a peninsula on the east coast of Asia, bounded on the north by China, to the northeast by Russian Siberia, on the east by the Sea of Japan, on the south by another country, and on the west by the Yellow Sea and a bay? Its capital and largest city is Pyongyang. Correct, 459. The answer is North Korea, a communist country that used to have close ties with the Soviet Union. North Korea continues to maintain a close relationship with China. It was established in 1948 after 2 occupation zones were set up in northern and southern Korea during World War II. The Korean War began in 1950 when North Korean forces invaded South Korea. Supplied by the Soviets and eventually joined by the Chinese, North Korea fought forces of South Korea and the United Nations. Run by one of the most closed and repressive regimes on Earth, North Korea has suffered from food shortages and a deteriorating economy.
And they've also had a new $1.5 billion in worldwide sales in some of their restaurants, like their restaurant in Dubai. You didn't know North Korea had a restaurant in Dubai. You know, not many people do.
No.
They actually are trying to engage in worldwide operations. But can we trust anybody who wants to blow us up, you know? Of course, they think that about us. So it's kind of a mutual distrust. All right. Thanks, Sarah. You're awesome. Thanks for all the help.
Yes, Mad Dog, I put myself to sleep as well.
Yeah, so you can just go right to sleep. Yeah, get some sleep, get some rest. Thursday nights are always kind of like difficult. It's like you're past the hump day, you know, but you're on to the next day, which is really hard, and you really get tired. She could sleep right now. You should go to sleep right now, I think. If you want, but you don't have to. She does. She Netflix. It's fun for her. Yeah, so we got a video we're going to play tonight of the chemtrails that are next to us here. Watch it before they take it down, before they delete it.
Google, is it okay if I make this video? Will I lose my account? Will I be banned from YouTube for...
Yeah. Will you be banned if you talk about chemtrails? That's a good question. All right. Dave, do you do? I don't know what Netflix and chill means. I thought I did, but now it's some sort of a weird urban statement that sounds pretty sick. Disgusting. Whoa. Unsettling Boston Dynamics robot fights off man with a hockey stick to open the door. I heard about that. This is even more disturbing that they're actually fighting back. So we have something to be worried about because of all these robotic developments. Technology could become a nightmareology. Okay, there you have it. Isn't it amazing? It fights back. It does its own thing. It's amazing how artificial intelligence could kick our ass. It's your ice cream time? Yeah, well, you may want to back off on that unless you care to get too much sugar in your body. Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto. Yeah, well, I tell you, one waffle did me in. I pretty much, I'm set for the day. Yeah, we've been talking about these discussions for a long time. Even last year, in October, about 6 months ago, way back in 2017, we were saying Trump campaign staffers pushed Russian propaganda days before the election. Kellyanne Conway and Donald Trump Jr. pushed messages from an account operated from Russia troll farm, including allegations of voter fraud a week before the election day. These are stories that are still right there in our face. We haven't really, even wrestled with these stories, let alone the new and enlightened stories about Manafort and his dealings. And it's all going to come down like a ton of bricks on Donald, unfortunately, and our country's wasting our time. Templars were on Oak Island. This isn't Oak Island, this is Oak Harbor. Yeah, the Templars weren't here. This is not Oak Island, dude. That's a far cry from where we are. Oh, Nova Scotia, yeah. Oak Island, Nova Scotia. Yeah, the Templars made it across. They say they even got here before Columbus, of course. But they say that right around the time that Leif Erikson arrived in Canada, what was it, 1100 AD or something like that? 1090. I tried the pork fried rice. Yeah, it was good. It's protein and vegetables all mixed up. It's not something to brag about. I prefer it fast fried and more oil, but that's more fattening. It was okay. It's certainly a great pack-away lunch. I topped it off with some Cajun spice that I picked up, McCormick's Cajun spice, they call it. Adds a little bit of salt in it, and then some Parmesan cheese. And then I pack it for freezer food for Sarah if she needs it for lunch. Yeah, it's kind of a good thing to have in case she's hungry. This story was compelling last night. This young man was told, well, I'll let him speak for himself.
Instantly, oh my God, those are gunshots? Or did you think it was balloons popping, as one student told me? And how would you even know what it would sound like?
I thought it was a drill because they told us we would have police officers who were going to be firing blanks to scare us, get us trained for this. So no one took it seriously until I heard screaming. It was the worst screaming I'll ever hear. It was awful.
So they had somebody scream really, really loud after they had their fake bullets go off. And they even told these young people as they lined up and were getting ready for this Code Red event that there would be bullet sounding things going off. So, yeah, they prepped everybody. They even said this is going to be a, and then a scream happened. So then they all took it seriously. And then this young man was, he was told he couldn't even talk about his story because it was so pertinent.
Get to share his experience.
CNN had originally asked me to write a speech and questions, and it ended up being all scripted.
Colton wrote questions about school safety, suggested using veterans as armed school security guards, but claimed CNN wanted him to ask a scripted question instead, so he decided not to go.
I don't think that it's going to get anything accomplished. It's not going to ask the true questions that all the parents and teachers and students have.
Right. Yeah. So he wasn't even allowed to speak out in the cameras. They wouldn't even take him. Yeah, I was just tracking through all the people that killed, had problems during the Mandalay Bay attack. Speaking of false flags. Remember this guy, Las Vegas eyewitness, commits suicide following an FBI raid. You probably didn't even hear about it. It was happening during the Mandalay Bay attack. A key witness to the Las Vegas mass shooting committed suicide and killed his daughter shortly after the FBI raided his home. This doesn't add up. Why would he kill himself and his daughter? John Beilman was wanted by federal agents in connection to a communications device discovered in Stephen Paddock's hotel room at the Mandalay Bay. He had his charger. He left his charger there. The FBI had raided Beilman's home one day before he shot his disabled daughter. So they raided his house, then he kills himself and his daughter? Agents executed a search warrant and raided his house on Williamsburg Drive before he took his daughter, Nicole, into the backyard and shot her, and then himself in the back of the head with a 12-gauge shotgun. Okay, so how in the world does somebody shoot themselves in the back of the head with a 12-gauge shotgun? How is that possible? I can't understand that. Does anybody know how it's carefully? I mean, you could say Kurt Cobain did it in the front of his face, but how did he possibly put a shotgun in the back of his head and kill himself? So it all looks completely out of whack and distorted. Every bit of this news about Mandalay Bay and about this Parkland shooting is all distorted. He was executed. Thank you, Rocker. Yeah, well, he opted out at CNN, that one guest. Yeah, the young kid said he wouldn't be, they weren't going to let him talk. They don't even want people to talk. They want everything scripted. You see what I'm talking about? This could all be MK Ultra. In fact, they might have even prepped this young man, Nick Cruz, to be an MK Ultra assassin. He had all the earmarks. The fact that the FBI knew his whereabouts for 5 months, and he had 39 visitations at his house by the police and FBI, means that they were grooming him for this operation. Oh yeah, he was just being handled, like coddled, like, oh yeah, we got our patsy. It's this young kid in the stupid house. Yeah, we'll just push this BS across the American people, and they'll believe it. Oh yeah, and then they'll fall right in line that gun control is needed, and pretty soon we'll have our New World Order takeover of their lives. And you people that voted for Trump are now eating your words. You saw, I said, I'm right. He flipped on gun control.
Is live. It is February the 22nd, 2018. Friends, this is a very serious...
There's a Russian military counter-Turkish operation going on in Syria. We're backing the other side. It is something worth noting. I mean, war can start anywhere and continue going. Somebody said in iVlog, do you think this is the beginning of the war in the Middle East? And I don't think so. No, I think it's another ongoing engagement with Syria. But we will talk about it tonight.
This broadcast this evening, we are watching the world set up for a global conflict. It looks like that we could see a major escalation of tensions here in Syria, not just tensions, but outright war. Everywhere between Russia, Turkey, United States, Israel, Syria, Iran, Hezbollah, the entire mix, all the jihadist groups that we have been backing. When I say we, the United States has been backing over in the Middle East, not just the U.S., but Saudis, the Qatarians, the Turkish, all these factions coming together in a major confrontation. Propaganda like I've never seen before is really mounting up globally to prepare the public around the world for a truly global conflict.
All right, and then we have other confirming information from Breitbart. Yeah, according to Worldview, reports claim China is heading to Syria to join Russia. And this is just a CAD picture of the two of them meeting sometime, but massive Russian military deployment into Syria and Iraq continues. China military heads for Syria, supposedly to join Russia. Yeah. My concern is, why didn't we get out of Syria completely? My whole plan was to just say to Putin, hey, we have no real primary goal to be there, so why would we continue funding this? And I certainly respect your former satellite nation of Syria and their boundaries. I would have pulled out completely, but you know, Trump never did that because he needs something in his deck of cards. He doesn't have anything in his hand. He needs something. So he's using our position in Syria and Poland as a bargaining chip against what they have on him, which God knows what, sex tapes, I mean, you name it. So that's what I'm concerned about, is that Trump is using the Syrian engagement as a bargaining chip. So they're there right now to crush the rebels, and they're just not in any way going to stand around and watch Erdogan have a complete engagement with Kurdish rebels and not realize that, you know, they have to shore up their end of the deal with Erdogan, because they made a recent deal with Erdogan. Putin met with him. They got past their differences after he downed a jetliner that Russia had. So they're on the patch as opposed to breaking up, whereas we are clearly on the outs with both countries on various levels. So their Sino-Soviet agreements have dominated world politics for some time. So they're just there to crush any resistance. I'm not a rebel, no. I would support non-intervention in that region. We have to seek stability, and if the dynamic changes and if a world leader refuses to budge like Bashar al-Assad has proven to be, we have to accept that fact. The idea that we could export the same methodology that we used in Libya to oust Muammar Gaddafi in a region like Syria is absurd. Muammar Gaddafi had 5 F-15s. 5. Bashar al-Assad has 350 Russian-made and Chinese-made MiGs and all kinds of things. Major 350 aircraft could easily pose a problem for any country, let alone our country or NATO. So we have to realize where we are and the boundaries that make sense. ISIS got all those $40,000 Toyota Tundra pickups from the rebels, Ted. Well, the thing is, the rebels became ISIS whenever they want to work. I mean, we are literally funding a war where people work for whoever side is funding them. So if you can imagine a war of mercenaries against a war of mercenaries, and this would never have happened if the Russian Wagner group had not been fired on recently. The Wagner mercenary group that works for Russia was recently fired on, and they took major casualties, but this never hit the news because Putin doesn't even want his own people to know this. But the Wagner group, which is a private security firm that works directly for Russia, was trying to expand the pipeline and move into oil areas, and our rebel-supported position was immediately to attack them, and they apparently completely surrounded them and killed off a lot of those mercenaries. That wasn't even reported in the mainstream media. So now this whole thing is spinning into a new dimension, and because Trump is so behind the ball, he can't even he can't even have a normal conversation with people, and neither did Obama. Obama they thought was an idiot too. So these people are acting almost in lieu of America, and they're doing whatever they want to do within the field of theater that they control. Hackers use Tesla's cloud systems to mine cryptocurrency. I heard about that, yeah. And here Tesla thinks, Elon Musk thinks he's so wonderful. And these cars are so great. The very operating systems were hijacked by a CoinHive, the same thing that's running behind your computer right now while you're connected to this website. I never authorized the use of CoinHive on this site. Bond has, but I understand he's using it too. But the car makers, while the open source Google system is used by enterprise businesses, one unsecured console was all hackers needed to get into Tesla's cloud environment. They had an unsecured console, and they infiltrated Tesla's Kubernetes console, which was not password protected. Within the one Kubernetes pod, access credentials were exposed to Tesla's AWS environment, which contained an Amazon S3, an Amazon Simple Storage Service bucket that had sensitive data such as telemetry. The cybersecurity firm said that with the increased popularity of cryptocurrency comes the drive for more people to hack and cheat the mining system. Beep. I am a robot. Beep. No, I'm not. I'm just kidding. All right. I want a free interview. Yeah. Tech jobs. San Francisco homeless are getting six-figure jobs in a gritty neighborhood that have been overrun by tech companies. San Francisco's homeless. Isn't this great? They're getting six-figure jobs. This is the best news I've heard yet. What are they doing? Homeless people are making six figures. That's wonderful. They just need a job and they've got the will to learn. Now, nowhere in San Francisco is wealth disparity more prevalent than the Tenderloin. Ooh, that even sounds weird. In one of the grittiest downtown neighborhoods, homeless people sleep outside the offices of Uber, Microsoft, Twitter, Square, and other high-powered tech companies. Needles, garbage, feces found in concentrations comparable to some of the world's poorest slums. Drug dealers conduct business in the same blocks where tech workers buy venture-backed coffee. It's clear that not everyone has benefited from the economic gains of the tech boom. But in 2015, a former homeless man launched Code Tenderloin, a nonprofit that provides job readiness training and basic coding skills to the city's homeless, formerly incarcerated, and disenfranchised populations, with the goal of putting them to work in the tech industry. About half of the 300 people that Code Tenderloin has accepted into the program reported finding employment after graduation. An elite few have landed six-figure salaries as software engineers and customer service technicians at companies including Microsoft and LinkedIn. Wow, that's really cool. That's a feel-good story about code tenderloin. And wait till code rump roast kicks in. Yeah. They'll offer like a church. Our Lady of the Rump Roast will be nearby for all the wayward coders that can't find a good coding job. Sauerkraut fried in lard sounds really bizarre, man. I can't imagine how it's gonna wreak havoc with your intestines. Don't tell your intestines it's headed its way. Who doesn't lime code their rump roast? Right. Yeah, I got your code, man. Yeah, well, I'm not a coder myself. I'm rather bored by the whole concept. But man, people can really make a lot of money doing that. If you're an ant and think like an ant, you can make tons of money in America. Yeah, you just have to think like a small ant, you know, linearly. I will do the next thing. Beep. Right now, I'm going to go and play my song, Mr. Right. Thank you.
They used to say guns don't kill people. Well, people don't. They get emotional, disobey orders,
Sweep me off my feet, my heart stops to beat. Cause you make me melt away. My Mr. Right, too good to be true.
Wow. Okay, we are ready to take on the false flaggery the world has ever seen. This young CNN reporter, David Hogg, is making a splash with his bad reading skills and inability to actually state anything without a teleprompter. He's shown the world how a young man can lie through his teeth and pretend like something happened in order for all of us to get rid of our guns. Taking a gun away from an American is like digging into their body and asking for their body part and selling it on the open market. They don't want to give up their guns. I don't want to give up my kidneys or my liver.
Okay, today is February the 22nd, 2018, and right now at 8 p.m. we have a temperature of 47 degrees in the foothills of Los Angeles.
Okay, we're giving it up for One Pacific Redwood. He's going to take us on a journey of Doppler radar. You can see how the entire California coastline there is completely free of any moisture, any serious rain precipitation. That is by design. This man goes out and exposes how they actually hit the weather patterns with like lines of radiation. Radar, phased array radar is used to manipulate the heavy metals that they dump in the atmosphere. As I was telling you earlier, they dump it in the atmosphere with chemtrails. And they use it to manipulate the weather. And this is ostensibly weather warfare. So we'll be looking at that tonight. Large low pressure system again over California, which means less rain. Typical. They've got this whole thing, it's like a science. Oh, they've been managing this for what, 20 years now. They've been doing a successful job of manipulating the weather without us even knowing. It was only until recently with the internet that people are sharing this information, and it's starting to, you know, get some virality. But way back in the when we started this program, we heard from the Rothschilds when they were first starting their little plan to control the weather. That was pretty weird. They talked about making a website called myweather.com, in which they tracked every single bit of the weather. And myweather.com was world famous for its ability to track the course of weather throughout the world. And one of the Rothschilds spoke about this openly in front of many, and I will play it for you right now. And by the way, myweather.com was bought up, or rather bought up weather.com. They own that too.
The RMB situation, you mentioned a so-called currency problem. I mean, do you see the day in the next 5 years where it's fully convertible and flexible?
Well, you're talking to a person who's quite old. If I'm around in 5 years, I'd like to think that that is the case. I think we've all got to move towards that opportunity, and I think the challenge also is whether we should move towards an international currency, because the speculation and the complexity of currency has caused some of the irritation, not only among the trading nations, but among individuals. But it's not for me to say how it'll happen, but I think everyone who knows how to deal with these situations is very cognizant of the problem it takes to get over it, and I think the renminbi will become more convertible. But when it'll come, that is a matter for, obviously, the powers that be.
I want to just change tack slightly. Of course, China's seen, central China, parts of central China, seen the worst drought that they've had in many decades. Now, you've got this investment with your wife in Weather Central. How could that actually help out in terms of planning for things such as droughts?
Well, I think that, first of all, we have 25 broadcast clients currently in China, and we are the #1 provider of broadcast weather graphic solutions in the country. I mean, you had this downpour, I believe, in the last 24 hours, which has caused even people losing their lives, and situations like this. With the detail that we can put up through the technology that we give to the various weather stations, this makes people more aware of it. On the whole, it's a question of giving the opportunity. I mean, we have also launched an operation called My Weather, which gains access to the first truly personalized weather application for the web and mobile devices. You can go up on myweather.com.
Check to see if myweather.com. I want you to know that this man, Liam Gallagher, who you said was my age or older than me, was born in 1972. Yes, and in no way is Liam Gallagher my age. He's 45. I'm 57. So why don't you stop lying, Mr. Politics for Dummy, and realize we got you, man. You can't come in here and make statements like that. That guy is 10 years younger than me. Don't lie in our chat room. Thank you. Yes, go ahead and try. We're going to go ahead and kick you out there. Thank you. Bring on the DDoS. You have no idea. We've been through 9 years of this crap. You can't touch us. But this kid wants to be a CNN star, and he's willing to throw your gun rights under the bus. Yes, that guy was born in 1972. I'll give you the wiki link to Liam Gallagher. Yes. Not this guy. This guy is David Hogg, and he's a student at the school that the terrible shooting occurred in. It's just awful. Everybody at our parish has been praying for all the decedents. Yeah, I have been completely beyond your petty doxing, DDoSing, or spamming attacks. You got nothing on me, man. Uh-oh. This might be your final video. What's going on? For the people. Oh my. Somebody's really upset that they've been kicked off the internet. Hosted by Kalika. For the people.
Welcome to For the People. Hey you guys, I finally got my very first community guidelines strike.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Well, we'll play that tonight. Kalika is a wonderful black woman she's been doing all kinds of things. Yeah, that was just a video he was submitting. Submitted for your approval. One video by Kalika. Yeah, I'm just a little tired of the fear of technology. I think I'm developing a technophobia. It's a serious disorder that I'm kidding though, but you can actually have fear of robots. I call it robot phobia, but that's already been taken, and I can't buy the robotphobia.com is already taken, and yeah. But seriously, robot phobia is the next wave of fear. Well, these things are so strong, they're like 100 to 1,000 times stronger than the average human. And they can move much faster, and their reaction time is much faster, 100 times faster. So I know you people are unaware of what's coming. The future of the universe has not been well laid out for you. You have rudimentary skills at analyzing the future. You simply watch cartoons when the reality is much more severe. The reality is we are headed toward a disaster. Elon Musk said that virtually we have a 5 to 15% chance of surviving the artificial intelligence attack on humans. He says it's that serious. Of course, he thinks we're living in a simulation, like the Matrix. How preposterous to imagine that we're living in the Matrix. Mr. Anderson. Anyway, top-notch cosplay. Oh, I don't do the cosplay thing. That's done by so many people in the realm of the Illuminati. Yeah, they hired actors to do cosplay for a lot of these rich people so that they could act out their fantasies. Beat down boom. But I'll certainly show the incredible Katsucon 2018 cosplay video. Yeah, it'll be fun. Thank you. It's all about, you know, sharing technology, but I'm not into it. It's just too weird for me. Too freaky. Well, I think a lot of people are into role-playing games, you know, especially considering we've got a whole slew of young people now engaged in false flags. And they'll have a big career working for law enforcement, faking out the American people on a daily basis. So cosplay is kind of like that. It's not cosplay, it's cosplay. Oh, I'm sorry. Cosplay. Big difference. Much better. All right. It's like, do you even care what kind of hot dog you're going to eat? Sauerkraut? Pickles? Does it even matter? It's just a hot dog. Well, I don't believe in prank calling CNN, Lion of Judah. That'll get you arrested. You know, I don't even know what hentai is anymore. I'm trying to figure out, is this some sort of a Japanese sex porn art? Is that what that is? Is that the best description I can come up with? She was hacked during her show. She had to make a new account. The police were yelling at her to give them her address. Why would they do that? They're trying to put her in danger. Yeah, poor Oma, she's been fighting something fierce against these people who've taken her kid and lied to her other kid. Oh my gosh, it's a nightmare for her. I watched some of her 7-hour video last night. She's been going through hell. You know, when your child is snatched from your arms when you give birth, it must be a horrendous experience for a woman. Life-changing. I've never given birth, and I can't even imagine the mental torture that the women go through when their kids are ripped from under them. Or what if it's even worse? Oh, it's child pornography? Oh, of course we'd ban it. Yeah. Of course. I didn't realize it was child pornography. How do you pronounce? I don't know. I was just saying hentai because that's what the pronunciation is in Japanese. I had no idea. Well, we need to crack down on this type of behavior, especially among Hollywood people and Washington, D.C. people. You'll notice Harvey Weinstein hasn't been prosecuted at all of any of the alleged crimes that he may or may not have committed. But yeah, the correct pronunciation of this is
hentai.
Hentai. That's what it is. Hentai. Doesn't even matter. All right, thank you. Pawning somebody off at 45 years old. I'm 57 going on 58. I'm 12 years older than that guy. Politics for Dummies really has no etiquette whatsoever. Comparing me to a 45-year-old. I never even thought about it because it's not something I talk about. But you obviously care about it, so it's big on your list of things you want to talk about. She cammed up and made more calls under Oma. Okay. I don't know what she's doing. I told her just to, you know, remain neutral and find a new location to live. But I think she's still on her bender. She's trying to find out. She really wants to be with her son. And apparently she found out that her ex stole the son from under the doctor and paid the doctor off to take the baby. That's entirely possible. It sounds probable if somebody was going to take their son at birth. Yeah. There are families that would do that. Have the mother bear the birth of the child and then take the child right from the doctor and bribe the doctor. Apparently she ran into a human trafficking ring, which is even more weird. She doesn't want to give up looking for a child. Then she just stopped talking and her cast went silent for hours. Well, is she okay? Was she on camera when she went and stopped talking? She's apparently very upset. She's got a lot of issues. The fact that she's even televising herself shows that she's trying to protect herself. You see, if she's on camera, she's more protected because, you know, they don't like people with video cameras. I've got so many video cameras around my property being uploaded to the live stream and with redundant servers that I have a long history of videos I can draw from months ago. And that's interesting. With that kind of protection, she actually probably thinks she's safer broadcasting than not broadcasting. Well, we aren't standing our ground right now with Trump. He's all screwed up. He's in all kinds of different areas he shouldn't be. Cutting deals with Russians is not the way to go. Getting out of their face is the way to go.
When will we break the
So we do have that video coming up.
1,000-kilometer range mark for an electric car?
As it is, the record right now for Model S is 800 kilometers. That's the furthest that anyone has driven a Model S.
So we could be close?
Yeah, we're pretty close. Now, in order to do that, they did drive at a relatively slow speed. So, you know, we're talking, I think they drove maybe at 40 or 50 kilometers an hour or something like that. I think my guess is probably we could break 1,000 kilometers within a year or two.
Well, wait a second. If we're living in a matrix, why would we even have to worry about our batteries running out of energy? I mean, we're living in a matrix, right? Batteries could last forever. You just have to believe that they could last forever. Yeah. Florida school shooting. Father forgets name of deceased daughter's cemetery. Good one. That's very cool.
Yes.
You found it.
Because my daughter I'm not going to see again. She's not here. She's not here.
Oh, that's the same guy. Yeah. We had him up. Good. That's cool. He's the guy holding the camera. That's a good one. He's the guy holding the camera looking for his daughter. Let's see if I can pull that up again. Here he is, right here. That's the same guy. I couldn't understand why he's looking for his daughter. And he was wearing a Trump 2020 shirt. I mean, this is starting to look like a Trump operation to discredit the FBI. You know, it's entirely possible that Trump could have got a hold of some internal FBI agent contacts around Ray and went ahead around his head and put together an entire operation, another false flag. They can go live at any time with these things and put out an attack thing about the FBI. I mean, we're beginning to wonder if they're trying to paint the FBI as the bad guys in this particular instance, and they are definitely not doing their job. But doesn't it kind of play into Trump's position that the FBI is out to get him? Yeah. Especially considering he believes this is a real event, even though we have no proof it even happened. And now this guy couldn't even find the cemetery for his daughter, who he, by the way, was looking for the day of the shooting. I mean, why were you looking for your daughter? She was at school, dude. There was a shooting at school. What are you wandering around with a picture of your daughter looking for her for? It makes no sense. Captain Caveman. What's your question and why it looks like Mark? Really? No. No way does that look like Mark. No. Sorry. Alrighty. You think Oma's a little bit of a lunatic, but she's cool? She owns all the crazy crap she does? Yeah, the fact is Oma has really been on a quest. A mother finding her son over 20 years, 17 years. It's just phenomenal what she's been doing. And, you know, Oma has been opening up doorways and pathways for private investigators to look deeper into the human trafficking networks that are out there. So she's really a crusader in many ways. You like her? That's good. Good. Yeah, and they're using generic stock photos for news, chat room celebrity said. Yeah. Rocker says kids are missing. Very, very weird. Yeah. Well, the thing about the situation with 50,000 kids that are missing every year, and the government doesn't seem to make a big issue of it, is that's the story right there. The government doesn't make a big issue of it. That's the story. They're acting like it's, oh, well, it's typical. You know, I've even talked to people, 50,000 kids are missing. Yeah, it happens, whatever, you know. Parents are going to, their kids are going to run away, you know, whatever. And everyone has all these statements that they use as a kind of a byline to kind of prop up their apathetic stance toward the whole thing. But in reality, if it happens to you and your family, it's going to tear you apart. Everybody in your family is going to be heavily influenced. And, you know, your uncles and aunts are going to, it spreads throughout your whole family that some kid in your family was abducted. And that's something that we really need to put our law enforcement at full tilt going to find the perps. And I don't think they're working at full tilt. In fact, I think they're being paid by the perps to look the other way. This entire suppression of the Pizzagate story reeks of cover-up. The very fact that they outlawed the word Pizzagate on Twitter and Reddit reeks of utter cover-up at every level. And it's something we can't ignore. Brilliant. Math and science done right. Brilliant.org. Excel in math and science. Master concepts. It's hard to learn from lectures and videos. Our wiki is made for math and science. Used and loved by over 5 million people. Yeah. So definitely an opportunity awaits for anyone who wants to go online and learn things, that's for sure. Yeah, she found her son after 20 years is phenomenal. It's a great story, but she doesn't even know how to get to him. He's still living under the illusion that he doesn't have a mother or something. You see, his son was taken away, her son was taken away by her ex at birth. And the story is totally plausible. Hey, this is a weird video. Scissorfight made this great video actually showing all these anomalies that happened at the event that we are calling the Parkland shooting. And it's just phenomenal right here. You're seeing a golf cart pull up. Kids being ushered out. This is all true because this was a code red event. They bring out a gurney and they pull out what appears to be a person out of a paramedic truck. You're going to see that. And it's not really, it looks like one of those body dummies. And they're pulling her out right now on a stretcher, the body dummy. You'll see that closer in just a second. It looks like a body dummy being brought up next to the... That's not what you're looking at. We're going to see something else. They're getting another one ready for on the ground. They're getting close to it. And some woman is being brought into the... Nobody's hurt. There's no blood, nothing. And then you run across this picture right here of a bloody foot, right? You say, oh, well, the bloody foot there. That's terrible. You look at it for a while, and then you see it, the rag falls off. And there's nothing under the rag. It's just a rag with blood on it over the foot. And you probably can see this up close if I zoom in on this and kind of make it bigger for you. But the foot itself is completely clean. Nothing, there's no injury there. The rag fell off and there's no injury. So even if this is a real person, which we think it's a dummy, they had a red rag over it to make it look like it had an injury. Is her shoe red or brown? Her shoe is brown. There's no injury there. It was just a rag. So very strange anomaly in that picture. So they're making it look like these people are carrying bodies away. The kid doesn't have, the kid is gone. And the fact that the defense attorney even said that the kid pled guilty. Nicholas Cruz is a victim of some sort of brainwashing or something. He is completely, he's not present. He's not there. He's looking straight ahead. The defense attorney acts like she has all the answers, and that somehow this guy signed a confession. That's a lie. There's no evidence that he signed a confession. And there's no evidence he even acknowledged that he was in a court. He literally cannot even comprehend anything. He's out to lunch. And they say that he's hearing demons. So why did the defense attorney say not guilty by reason of insanity? Instead, she just threw the guilty plea out there and then said he signed a confession. Oh, come on. The guy can't even speak. He can't even respond to anybody around him. I mean, give me a break. So he looks more and more like a patsy. That probably no one was murdered. Yeah, chemtrails are real. It's about time you came out to realize that. Hey, anybody can start realizing chemtrails are real when they see them in the skies above you. It's really happening, yeah. They really are dumping chemicals on your head. And how do we know what went on behind closed doors? Yeah. I don't know if he's innocent or guilty. I can tell you he's insane. Okay? Any credible defense attorney would have just said, okay, do you know where you are? Who are you? What's your name? Okay, he's not credible enough to stand trial, so he's going to have to declare insanity. Not guilty by reason of insanity, Your Honor. We can't get him to communicate. And he's like, come on. The guy is completely groomed for this patsy job. And did anyone really see him shoot a weapon? Could you get one eyewitness? No. You saw people say they saw multiple shooters. There were 3 or 4 people that I heard in the interviews that said multiple shooters. So why aren't they pursuing multiple shooters? No mention of that in the news at all. Not one stitch of information on that. And they're vehemently denying that these people are crisis actors. And Anderson Pooper is coming out like Mr. Oh, I can't believe that these conspiracy theorists would deny that these people are so sick. Meaning us. Meaning people that simply want a little bit of evidence other than 4 seconds of fake video showing a little black girl laying in the corner of the
Hey, people get hit and they run and they move. No blood up. This is straight up. Look at this.
Yeah, I take this for example. I showed this last night. Same kind of thing. I don't mind showing it again because it's so important. But we did see 5 seconds of video from a camera in the scene that was taken. It looks so fake to us, but the cherry red blood is laying there. You're going to go, oh no, this is proof of it. No, actually, it's proof of one thing.
This, you guys. See, that's the miracle of computers, right? You could zoom, you could pause, you could slow-mo. Look at this bright red blood.
And look at the fact that there's a black girl sitting there laying in the pool of blood. A black girl, mind you. And this girl up here is the closest, of the list of decedents, this girl in the picture is the closest we could get to a black girl. Thanks. So why is there a black girl, a real black girl, I mean, not kind of black, not mulatto, but really dark black? Why is there a girl laying there in a pool of blood and they don't even bother to pick her up? And she must have been one of the ones living, right? That's the only rational explanation. But why would they just leave her, a living girl laying in a pool of blood, down and everyone else shuttered out and nobody even bothered to pick her up? So the whole thing looks completely fake. I don't think the mole is pertinent to the discussion I'm having, but thank you so much for sharing and not knowing a thing about what I'm talking about. Yeah, it's always nice to know that I'm not really communicating. All right, so I keep looking at that, and then this guy looking for his daughter. Where's my daughter? And now we just found out that he actually didn't know where she was buried.
She's in North Lauderdale at whatever it is, King David Cemetery.
What? What did you just say? You don't know where your daughter is buried?
Exactly. Same guy doesn't know where his daughter's buried. They just take these jobs. They got to make money. They got to support their family. They take these jobs, the Craigslist. You can be a crisis actor. It's all the people out there that are looking for acting work right now. You realize what an opportunity this is to go out there in front of a camera and make a few bucks. And in some cases, these people can make hundreds of thousands of dollars on GoFundMe pages. It's easy to get people to sign a paper saying, this is what happened and you stick to the story or we will. They threaten them that they will go to Leavenworth if they don't follow up on the story. The paperwork is very explicit. These confidentiality agreements specifically say you will be prosecuted in federal prison if you go against any of the specific statements that go on in this crisis event. So they're told they can't break their story under any circumstances. It's a good way to get attention, yeah. Christine Ledoinen did it, and she's the only witness that was presented in front of all of us by these people. Christine Ledoinen was the woman who allegedly lost her son at the Pulse nightclub shooting. And, yeah, nobody believed that story either. She was the only parent that stepped forward, and they used that one parent to speak out at the Democratic Convention to make us think that this is a terrible event, that it happens all the time, and everyone should be, worried about that, and maybe we should have gun control kind of thing. And they're pitching gun control every single time they do this. Every single time. But she was a crisis actress. She was looking for work. Here's her original pitch to get a job.
Hi.
Hi.
I'd like to be on Wheel of Fortune. I think I'd be a great contestant because I'm a lot of fun and other people would enjoy watching me win or solve or try to solve all the puzzles. I live in Central Florida. I have 2 kittens called Mickey and Minnie, but they're cats. This is the 3rd time I tried to get on Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah.
Once I was in Detroit with my son, and he was in a little baby.
Yeah, so we've had other people too, not just her. There was this one, remember her from the Orlando Pulse shooting hoax?
A lot faster than they expected.
She's actually a newscaster, an aspiring reporter. Yeah. Yeah, that guy's 45 years old, politics. Yeah, that's why you were taken out of the show for a while. Oh yeah, this is a good one. Okay. Yeah, this is the Coral Spring one. Oh, it's a new one. Good. Now the Truth TV 23. He's up to 23 different channels he's created because he gets knocked off every time. Now that's perseverance. Look at that guy. 23 channels. Now the Truth TV, 23. He's got backups here too. Awesome. Yeah, I'm going to definitely take a look at his backup. Okay. Okay. So this guy does an amazing background searches for everybody and finds that they're not even the people that they were supposed to be there. He's not even a U.S. citizen. He's somebody else. Okay. Interesting. Nicholas Duaret. There are 0 matches for this person. So he doesn't even exist under that name. This is not the first time. Almost all the decedents have been checked. I haven't seen one that's real. I saw the Harrison Hanks crisis actor. That's pretty funny, yeah. Dworet. Nobody by that name. It happens over and over and over again. Are you Hillary's twin? Oh, wow. You think I look like Hillary? Oh, that's so special of you. Thank you so much. You know, it's such an honor to look like Hillary. I don't like Hillary. Yeah. It doesn't help me to look like Hillary. But do you really think I look like her? You do, Dave. You do. You really do. Okay, let's see if I can match up her face. Okay. You're right. If I put some hair on, I'd look just like her. Wow. You're onto something there, man. Let's see if I can match this up. Am I Billary? We have a Billary picture here. That's pretty funny. Do you think that's funny, Hillary? I do, David. I really do. What difference at this point does it make? So if she were to get cloned and she come back as me? Are you the clone of Hillary? David? Are you? Tell the truth. Let's take a look. Only the camera will tell. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Thank you, Hillary. Hillary Billary. Oh my gosh, I look just like her. What difference at this point does it make? All I'd need is a little hairdo and I'd be fine. I think I should go as Hillary, yeah. They say she's going to run again in 2020. I should do a Hillary impersonation. I really should. Yeah, isn't that amazing? I look just like her. Although I do look like Brienne of Tarth, too. You're right. Now you're appealing to my ego. Here I thought this was a dental cream. Brienne of Tarth. I had no idea who this person was because I've never seen Game of Thrones. But here I'm looking straight at this face and going, is that me? Or is that Memorex? Staring at myself face to face with Brienne of Tarth in battle for who's who. Yeah, it's very possible. She has a deep set eyes. That's what, you know, many people think I look like her. Now this is the first case where somebody said, David, are you a tranny? No, I'm not. Just because I'm incredibly similar to her look. She has a downward mouth, though. Thank you so much. You're special. Stoneman victim Nicholas Dworet. That looks really good. I'll be playing that tonight. Can't wait. Oh, it's past 10. My video keeps freezing. That's because you're having a problem. Good night, DT Laura. Sleep well. Good night, sweetheart. David Kirsch with lyrics. Let's hear a little of this. Good night, sweetheart. DT. Good night, sweetheart. She comes in here all the time. She's a regular here. Thank you so much for coming in. Dream well. All right. Well, little country, little this, little that. I hate to go down the memory lane of all the Moscow and Russian things. I'm tired of doing that. As they get closer to the Russian indictments of Donald Trump, we'll be bringing those stories forward. But there's ample room here in my collection. I keep these things on file. I touch down on them on occasion. But the mainstream media is still not talking about the elephant in the closet. This man, the Russian general that handed the dossier over to Christopher Steele, Oleg Erelinkin, a FSB general capable of doing many damage to Putin, was taken out of the equation and no longer is posing a threat, being he's dead. Yeah, this is what happens to people who, break ranks with the Politburo and go on their merry way. They get killed. He died on Boxing Day of a heart attack, probably using that heart attack weapon. I'm sure Russia has it too. Do you realize there's a clone army of Daves? The majority of Model 2 are just hitting puberty. No, they're not. No, there's nothing like me. There are people out there that look like manlets. I will admit that. But I'm not a manlet. I am human. All right. And we're still waiting on Stormy Daniels' DNA test on that dress that she said that Donald Trump, expurged his DNA onto. Apparently she still has it, and she's going to be using it. And she's getting ready to start another, basically a plan to expose the affair. All right. And still no word about the story that Kevin McCarthy put out. I am still looking for the audio tapes that are still buried somewhere on the internet. I can't find them. I may have a copy, I'm not sure, but it is of Kevin McCarthy, the Senate or the Congress's House Majority Leader for the Republicans, saying to Paul Ryan that he thinks that there are two people he thinks Putin pays for, and that's Rohrabacher and Trump. And then Paul Ryan is on the tape saying, I hope nobody gets to hear this, and then orders this tape to be shut down. So it's out there somewhere. Somebody's got it, but it's going to come up eventually, I think. Because Kevin McCarthy was onto the Russian involvement. As a Republican, he was concerned. And the Republicans, by and large, don't really want to ask any questions because they think they're winning with Donald Trump in charge, not realizing they're throwing America under the bus, and they are virtually being traitors to this country by standing around ignoring the threat from Russia. Well, we lost another one there. Moon Main no longer can stay in our show. He's been permanently eliminated from the show. Yeah, Moon Main, you've been terminated. I'm not slouching in any way. I'm 6'4" no matter where you go. You can put me up against the wall right now and I'll measure 6'4". Yep. Yeah, so sorry you lose your count, but hey, you can always get another one. All right, I'm going to sign off now. Thank you for coming in. I'm going to play some videos and get this thing going. Here's more of the video of the guy who is claiming he's the father of one of the decedents, and he doesn't even know where she's buried, which is ridiculous. All right, everyone, good night. Take it easy. Be well. And always remember, I'm looking out for you. And looking out for America and our rights and our future. Thank you. Take care.
Gonna make you feel good. Gonna make you feel good.
We deserve a better government, one that addresses the real concerns of its people. Now, it seems, so much news is fake, twisting what America stands for. Let's protect our gun rights against media manipulation. Let's get back to what really matters. Secure, safe schools, fencing, and security for our youth, and a clean environment for everyone. Join us nightly as we discuss America's most important concerns at America's Third Party.
I'm not going to see again.